All right, welcome everybody. Happy Monday. Halloween. I'll be monitoring the front door, passing out the candy to the kiddos. But anyway, no. I mentioned this earlier. It is a little sad. You get to kind of show your age. You go for a jog or walk around the neighborhood and you see you see the homes that are really decked out for Halloween. You're like, they got little kids there more often than not. And, kids are getting a little bit bigger. So we're not so, we got the decorations up, but it ends up turning more into fall stuff with like mums that die way too quickly. Anyway, I digress. Today on podcast, we're going to talk a little bit, great piece by Andy Kessler in the Wall Street Journal, talking about growth and what he's calling this deadly degrowth craze. And it's kind of like grow or die. Grow or die, we talked about this. I've written many columns about this. So Lilliputians on steroids, the wasted talent, a myriad of columns over the years talking about the importance of economic growth. We're going to get into that. Also going to talk a little bit about the Fed meeting on Wednesday, what that means. A lot of bouncing around right now. Fed comes out and they make some statements, very hawkish statements, what that will do to the stock market 6 days before an election. I don't know. And trying to guess and trying to trade these things. Why bother? That's not what we do. You could be right. It's like flipping a coin. You could be right. You could be wrong. Again, we'll focus on the fundamentals of the companies that we own and not worry so much about what the Fed is saying in the here and now. Here and now is not so important when it comes to investing. It's where things are down the road. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Also a little bit more on China as well. You talk about bearish. I couldn't be more bearish on China at this point in time. And people who are invested, they've got various different funds and ETFs and global stuff. I'd be getting the hell out of there, quite frankly. I just don't like what I'm seeing coming out of that. We're also going to do a couple quick hit stories as well. I did get some emails, questions, my thoughts on what happened in San Francisco. Pelosi, touch on that. And also crime in New York City. They've come up with a new way to fight crime on the subways, and we'll talk about that. Anyway, let's do the deadly degrowth craze. Great piece, Andy Kessler, Wall Street Journal today. And this degrowth craze, you hear it all the time in other ways. It needs sustainability. They love their little words. It's sustainable. Sustainable growth. What are you talking about? Huh? What? First and foremost, capitalism in of itself is sustainable. It's sustainable. Companies either grow or they die. And if they die, guess what? Something replaces them. That's pretty damn sustainable if you ask me. Anyway, the new craze is degrowth, says Kessler. Proponents demand we put well-being ahead of profit. Isn't profits, when you're profitable, doesn't that lead to greater well-being? But it's better. Let's go back to Kroger Industrial Smoothing from Seinfeld. Seinfeld fans out there, George is working for this god-awful company and the CEO of Kroger. Oh, we got to get into the red or the black. Which one's a good one? The black is a good one. Being profitable is a good one. Anyway, Kessler said normally he would ignore these idiots that say this stuff, but it's become a bit of a religion. Again, we've gone after the World Economic Forum, Davos, all of that nonsense. They got all sorts of scholars from all these scholars out there. What would a post-economic growth world look like? Bad. I could tell you what it would look like. Former Soviet Union. I don't know. How about East Germany? That's what it would look like. That's what happens. Kessler writes, like manta rays or sharks that must keep swimming or die, societies that don't grow devolve into oppression, chaos, anarchy, ruin. Happened to the Roman Empire, Soviet Union, Venezuela, Argentina. What is degrowth? Well, you got to make do with less. Capitalism, we talk about productivity. It's basically finding ways to do more with less. Again, just think about it and just in your little microcosm, your world. I can go back. Again, I've been in this business for a long time. And if I think back to when I first started, and we would record in ink with a pen, stock trades, holding positions in this book. And it was just so much more labor intense. And again, technology, investment, productivity, all of these things. And what has it done? It's brought costs down. Brought costs down for my business, also brought them down for the customer as well. You remember the commissions that they used to charge on trades? Holy crap. Anyway, no growth means no investment for innovation. Stagnation, freezing everything in place. And Kessler brings up the pie argument. This argument that I brought up before on the program on countless occasions, trying to explain to kids, and I just kind of try to explain to kids too, who get caught up in all this left-wing bullshit. A pie. Take a look at a pizza pie. Okay? People on the leftists believe that the pie is stagnant. And it is their duty, it is their job to make sure that everybody gets their fair share of the pie. And oh my God, that terrible Elon Musk or this one there, look at how much of the pie that they have. That's not right. We need to redistribute that. Yeah. No, people, the pie is not stagnant. The pie grows. And granted, as the pie grows, people who are smart, people who are productive, people who contribute, they're going to get more. That's just the way it is. But so can you. Ever hear the whole concept, rising tide lifts all boats? And it's not just the rich people's boats. It's everyone's boats. Kessler writes, growth is oxygen. Growth is how we afford virus vaccines and cures for cancer, Alzheimer's, and ALS. Growth is how we take people out of poverty. Again, they never mention this. They always talk about poverty, and there's poverty in this world. We all know this. We all know that there's poverty in this world. But the amount of people that are living in extreme poverty continues to drop. It's not because of communism. It's not because of socialism. You want to fix the world, you need to export capitalism. You need to export capitalism. I have become a friend. Yeah, it's a guy who he's got a little small business. His family is he's an immigrant from Haiti, and he cuts my hair and he cuts my kids' hair, and we go to his place and he's got a great little business going, wonderful family, wonderful individual. And again, I conversations with it because his parents still have a place in Haiti, and they're back and forth, and we see all the unrest that's there. And he brings up, he says, what happens is you get these elites that come in and they put entire industries out of business because they start giving things out. And I said, it's funny. I talk about the same thing on the show. There was an African economist that talked about, oh yeah, here comes Bono. Here comes Bono and all the do-gooders. All the do-gooders, look at us. We're going to give out mosquito nets. We're going to give out mosquito nets in Africa because we think it's a wonderful idea because we're wonderful and we're great. Well, you're going to give out mosquito nets. Again, you want to protect people from malaria. What happens to the businesses in Africa, the companies in Africa that make mosquito nets? You put them out of business. You put them out of business. You're giving something away for free. Again, rather than do that, why not, give capital to people so they can grow their mosquito net business and they can become sustainable. That's sustainability. That's what sustainability is being able to fend for oneself, being able to go out there. The old concept, teach a man to fish rather than handing out fish. Anyway, no grows are the ones shouting sustainability. When you hear net zero, it screams no growth. Let's drive energy prices high enough to limit growth. You guys, you won. You succeeded. You take a look at inflation in Europe right now, it's over 10%. It's over 10%. I mentioned China. We'll talk about China a little bit later on the program. You can catch me investing in the UK? No freaking way. Yeah, there's certain countries in Europe which I do think are investable. Ones that were down and out that I think can turn things around. And, we may discuss that in some podcasts down the road. But, some of the titans of Europe, they're screwed right now. Their industries are in deep doo-doo. The energy prices are too high. They did it to themselves. Congratulations. Everything involving redistribution is no growth because it steals productive capital and gives it to a protected class. No grows are all over the Biden administration, pushing equity at Treasury, the SEC, the military. Their leaders know better, but have their marching orders. No grow Lena Khan at the FTC runs a big is bad, except for government, of course, antitrust regime. We long ago lost our dysfunctional education system to a curriculum that teaches mushy rhetoric instead of hard tools needed for economic growth. And he also goes after the tariff guys and the Trump administration, Mnuchin, Navarro, Lighthizer, and what they did, basically pushing protectionism over growth. No grows push stakeholder capitalism. Yes, everyone needs a stake. And again, I talked about this before on the program, and you even get Republicans. Yeah, Republicans that think that this is great. Again, they call themselves Republicans. I don't know. I don't know if they, again, the old Inigo Montoya, I'm not sure if they know what the word actually means or what it's supposed to mean. But anyway, it's an unholy alliance where you've got big business working with government. They love it. Oh, it's a public-private partnership. No, that's dangerous. The public, the government is supposed to act as the referee, as the umpire. It's supposed to stay out of all of this. This whole stakeholder capitalism with government and corporations and workers and environmentalists and activists. Like, you've got some sort of say in how this business is being run. And all you left-wing lunatics out there, you don't like the way that Chevron is doing things, buy the stock in the company and vote. Shareholder meetings. That's how it works. Anyway, this forces these no-growth policies into boardrooms instead of trying to maximize innovation Again, growth, profits, all these good things. Who could be against raising living standards and reducing poverty? Who do you think? If you are in the business, of redistribution, you don't want this type of growth. It puts you out of business. You don't have a purpose anymore. Central planners, they don't like this. Central planners like to move stuff around, like to take stuff and hand it to somebody else and then, pat themselves on the back, telling themselves how awesome they are. Power, that's power. Soviets had the Ministry of Agriculture and Food to concoct unreachable 5-year plans. That's the dream of the expert class mouthpieces. No-gros, economists that we make fun of all the time here in the program. Joseph Stiglitz, Alan Blinder, Paul Krugman, Jeffrey Sachs, go on and on down the list. They push this no-growth agenda. If you read closely the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, over half lead to no growth, which would require UN technocrats to rescue us. Sad because, guess what? Markets work. Markets work and they reach far and wide. Prices automatically allow billions of people to allocate resources, removing the need for biased experts. Capitalism, like I said earlier, Kessler says it, almost by definition, sustainable and renewable. Grow or die. If growth stagnates, what happens? Europe, UK, South America, money moves elsewhere. Last week here on the program, and we were talking about Davos in the desert. Why do you think 400 American CEOs are there? It was like 700, 800 global CEOs. Why? Money there. They're making money there. They want to invest money there. And they're looking, gee whiz, is this an opportunity? What's going to happen next? Growth is fuel. Someone tell the World Economic Forum that without growth, life would emulate lockdowns, awaiting orders from our leaders. Hey, maybe that's their goal. I don't know, maybe. Going along with this story, I saw this past week. It's from Bloomberg, and it's a breakdown because I'm still trying to figure this out. I'm still trying to figure out where all of the workers are. Again, because big redistribution efforts taking place in Washington, D.C. 100 million Americans weren't working in early October. 100 million Americans weren't working in early October. Half retired. Okay. Baby boomer generation. Okay. Many decided to leave the labor market during COVID. 12%, that's 12 million people, were either sick from an illness unrelated to COVID or disabled. Now, again, we know how, if you're not aware, I've gone off on this before, and how the disability programs here in the United States are completely abused, and what it takes to actually get disability. And it's not much. 12 million Americans are disabled. The type of healthcare that we have today, we don't have the type of sweatshops and crap that we had in the past, but more people are disabled today. Right. Sure. Coronavirus continues to play an outside role. 5.6 million people aren't working because of COVID-19. Whether they are ill themselves, caring for someone who's sick, or they're concerned about getting or spreading the coronavirus. Again, think about the size of that number. 5.6 million. Yeah. 6 million didn't have a job because they were caring for a child or an elderly person. Another 6.8 million didn't want to be employed. Lack of transportation, keeping 1.2 million people. Lack of transportation. The equivalent of 32 million people who aren't working are relying on savings to cover their needs, including withdrawals from retirement accounts or money from selling assets. Another 26 million are using credit cards or loans, and 12 million have been borrowing from family or friends to help meet their expenses. In addition, more than 20 million are relying on government transfers of some type, such as unemployment insurance payments, food stamps, or government rental assistance. Those are the numbers from Bloomberg. Okay? I'm throwing them out there. You can take away what you want from them. Anyway, moving on. Fed. Okay, we got Fed Wednesday. I highly doubt that it's more than likely they're going to go 75 basis points, which is baked into the cake to some degree. The concern is what they're going to say, what's going to be in the comments, how they're planning on moving forward. Again, I don't know. They got their little guy, they got that Nick Timiraos guy from the Wall Street Journal, makes some comments last week, kind of backtracks this weekend. Again, if your portfolio is reliant, if your finances are really kind of hinging upon what the Fed is going to do on Wednesday, you're doing it wrong. You're doing things wrong, and I strongly suggest you get your financial house in order, your financial preparation in order. And again, we can help you with that. Get to our website at watchdogonwallstreet.com and our personal CFO program and speak with us because you're doing it wrong. Why should your portfolio hinge on what the Fed is going to say or do? Why should it matter to you over the short term? Again, some stories out there. Fed's problem with the jobs market. We talked about 100 million people not working. Is there really anything the Fed can do with this? Is there anything that they can do? Can they make these workers jump back into the workforce? No. Again, you want more people to come back into the workforce? I don't know. Make it a little bit more difficult to get disability, make it more difficult to get all of these handouts and giveaways. No, I'm not being cruel by any stretch of the imagination. If you don't believe me, take a look at it yourself. Take a look at the amount of people that are on disability today than there was back in the 1960s. How is that possible? And the things that can get you on disability. I remember it used to, it's a true story. I know this is anecdotal, but it used to piss me the hell off. So piss me off. There's all these workers, healthy people. It's back when I lived down in Florida, I go to the gym. My gym was, LA Fitness. And it was a nice gym. They had racquetball courts, all sorts of stuff. And it was to see the same people there working out every day. And there was people that seemed like they never left. They work out, play basketball, play racquetball, and they were all younger. I started asking around. These are all people that they're on disability. Yeah. They moved from up north. They got disability from their jobs, collecting, and they just work out all day long. Yeah. Anyway, moving on. Story here. China's factoring. I want to talk about China again. Why I am. China's a disaster. It is. It's a disaster, and this is why I think it's going to be maybe a bit of a concern. As far as I want to talk about geopolitically, militarily, I might be when it comes to Taiwan, because they're shooting themselves in the foot right now. Official Purchasing Managers Index fell to 49.2 from 50.1 in September. It's down because of China's economies and its pandemic control policies. And if they're saying that the number is 49.2, it's much, much worse than that. And again, how could it not be? You shut down entire cities, millions upon millions of people. The disconnect that can cause in the economy. I mean, you can try to sweep this under the rug, but it's a freaking disaster. They had people. I don't know. I guess maybe they found out that somebody had COVID at Shanghai Disney. They locked the doors. They chained them up. They wouldn't let anybody leave. No, nobody can leave. There's zero COVID policy. At some point in time, one would think that, I don't know, maybe the people in China are going to get tired of this. I don't know. I don't know. I'm getting involved in the psyche of the Chinese people. I wouldn't be taking this any longer. Really, you're going to continue to do this? I guess people are running for the exits, trying to get out. They're all barricaded and chained up. Everybody's got to get tested for COVID before they leave. How's that zero COVID policy working out for you guys? It's not. Again, this is why very, very bearish when it comes to China. They're basically doing everything wrong. The numbers that they put out more often than not are big, fat, huge fugazis. Anyway, a couple of little side stories. I'm going to start off with this one. I'm not making this up, people. This is actually happening at this point in time. They've got I guess police officers at subway stations handing out pamphlets. To tell people how to protect themselves while riding on the subway. Now, again, I explain this to my kids. Again, as part of coaching. Keep your head on a swivel. Keep your head on a swivel. Again, you got to do it. When you're playing basketball or you're playing lacrosse, you should sports. You got to see your man. You got to see the ball. You got to position yourself. Got to keep your head on a swivel. Playing middle linebacker, you get your head on a swivel. You got to be aware of everything. Oh, geez, the blocker might blindside you from the side. Head on a swivel. So basically, pamphlets are telling people to do inside the subways and where to stand and how to protect your pocketbook and all of these things. Personal safety tips. Guys, crime's on the ballot. It is what it is. We mentioned again and again and again the old Templar Knight line from Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Choose wisely. Crime is on the ballot. At this point in time, you got a lot of naysayers out there. You do. They're coming out. There was a Kathy Hochul this past weekend claiming that, everything is awesome in the state of New York. Nothing to see here. Oh, yeah, things are just wonderful when it comes to crime. When we all, again, the old Eagles can't hide your line eyes. I mean, it's right there, people. It's a disaster, and it's everywhere. We've gotten to the point in time, and again, pamphlets. I used to make fun of. We got that. They always talk about you have to get some PSAs that they run on radio all the time. The government puts out where they get some pamphlet factory in Pueblo, Colorado. That's just again your tax dollars, at work doing absolutely nothing. But here you go. Again, how much does it cost? You've got police officers handing out pamphlets. You have to print the pamphlets. Probably paid somebody to do it. Do you think it's really gonna do much? Again, better solution. I don't know. Why not keep these criminals who continue to commit crimes? Why not keep them behind bars? Just saying. Brazil. Again, Brazil. It's changeover here. Lula da Silva wins. Very close election. He served 2 terms in the past, and it was a major corruption scandal that he was involved with, and he went to jail, but then he got thrown out of court. They're talking about how much of South America has right now is into the hands of leftist socialist governments. I don't care. I don't care. I think that the United States, unfortunately, over the years, has done ourselves a service by trying to fight these left of center regimes. Listen, if you want to wreck your country, wreck your country. Hey, you guys can figure this shit out yet. Again, Argentina used to be one of the wealthiest countries in the entire world. They blew it up. They blew it up like the end of Planet of the Apes. Ah, damn you. Yeah, blew it up. Charlton Heston. Great scene. Love it. Great movie, by the way. Yeah, I mean, sometimes, again, you got to let things hit rock bottom. You want to, I mean, again, it's a very close election there, but it is what it is. That's what you choose. That's what you choose. I talk about it here. Yeah, people are all angry and bent out of shape with all these things that are going on. But these are choices that we've made here in the United States that put us in the position that we're in. You voted for these higher energy prices. I make that perfectly clear. Not everybody, but we, the people, did. That's how our system works. One last quick story here. All right. We all heard last week the story. Everybody was putting out tweets and what happened to Paul Pelosi at his house in San Francisco. And I watched these stories and I watched the initial coverage and how people react to these things. And violence is a terrible thing. But yeah, again, my bull excrement meter is very, very sensitive. And honestly, I've been following since I was a kid. I was a dork. I liked 60 Minutes as a kid, for crying out loud. I just been lied to just way too many times by the mainstream media over the years. And I'm going to leave it at this. I don't know. I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but do I believe that the truth will get out? No, I do not. No, I do not. I think that we're going to be given, half the story, if that. It doesn't make any sense. Nancy Pelosi, in case you're not aware, with the United States Constitution, she's Speaker of the House. She's third in line to the presidency. So if something were to happen to the president and vice president, Speaker of the House is president. You mean to tell me the third in line to the presidency, someone as powerful as the Speaker of the House, it's easy for some vagrant wacko to break into that house? You mean to tell me there's no security there or security system? For crying out loud, you could get a Simply Safe security system for a couple $1,000 and set it up around your house, and it could do a better job. Something just doesn't smell right. Sorry. Oh, it's a conspiracy. Not really. I'm just being thoughtful. I'm throwing out that question. How is it possible? How is it possible for some obviously mentally disturbed person to break in to the Speaker of the House that easy? Not buying it. Not buying it at all. Anyway, have a great day, buddy. Watchdog on wallstreet.com, our site, Watchdog on wallstreet.com. Take advantage of all the great stuff we have there. Sign up again. Listen to the podcast now. Make sure, if you're watching it on social media, sign up for it on any of the major platforms out there. You can download it at any point in time. You can also do it at our website, personal CFO program, all sorts of great stuff. Watchdog on wallstreet.com. Have a great day.